So hello everyone and welcome back to Sports Today. In this series of videos that we've been doing in the build up to the World Cup, what we do is we'll take one team that is taking part in the ICC World Cup and do a full-on SWOT, that is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threat analysis. And today along with me we have Gargi, and of course we'll be discussing the England team, the defending world champions, not only in the ODI format but even in the T20 format.
Yeah, and I think heading into this World Cup, ODI World Cup, England's are a favourite at the moment
100%.
because of the way that they've been performing. Their players are in formidable form, and I think, England could very well take this World Cup home as well.
Yeah. Who knows? The Football World Cup hasn't come home, but the Cricket World Cup may come home
Again.
That's right. So England, I do tend to agree with you, definitely one of the favourites. Yeah. I think they do have one advantage when it comes to white ball cricket, is that they have a ridiculous number of all-rounders, and as you'll see later in this video, we struggle to fit in some of them.
Exactly.
So what we'll do, obviously I think the strengths, all-rounders being one, but if you take a look at their squad, and we'll go over their squad first, you also see a ridiculous amount of power hitting. So just quickly take us to the squad.
Yes, when we look at England's squad, we have Jos Buttler, the skipper, of course. We have Moeen Ali, Gus Atkinson, Johnny Bairstow, Sam Curran, Liam Livingstone, David Malan, Adil Rashid, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Reece Topley, David Wiley, Mark Wood and Chris Wokes. Right out, this is a power-packed squad. You can't even deny it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their entire batting, of all the batters they have, there's precisely two batters who will play what you'd call a more traditional way. That's David Malan and Joe Root. That's it. Beyond that, everyone has just one mantra: hit out or get out.
No, even with David Malan, I think because they'll send him out to open, I guess, with Bairstow, that could be a formidable opening pair, for England. I think this is one of their biggest strengths when it comes to it, because in ODI cricket, in white ball cricket in general, it is so important to get those quick starts, right? Take advantage of that power play, and David Malan and Johnny Bairstow do that very, very well. I mean, David Malan has been performing crazily. He has 591 runs in 9 ODI matches.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
If his form was so good that England felt so comfortable dropping Jason Roy, who by the way was a key part of their 2019 World Cup winning side alongside Johnny Bairstow.
Exactly.
In fact, it was this duo, I remember, that pretty much put a kibosh to the Kulchar duo, because they tonked them around so badly that India were like, no, you can't play two wrist spinners and compromise your batting. Yeah. Because that was just how badly they got hurt. So actually, that's, if you're right, actually, Malan is someone takes good advantage of the power plays. Root really the only one. And I think another advantage they have, one that was encapsulated by a certain decision we'll get to, depth. Why am I saying that? Their initial squad didn't include Harry Brook.
I mean, yes, that happened. That everything, that the 100 changed everything for Harry Brook. And anyways, Harry Brook was in contention for that squad. Yeah. But everything changed because Ben Stokes, your match winner, was coming in as a batter only. And that really changed the compatibility of the squad. And Jos Buttler, when Harry Brook was left out of the squad, he was talking about, how they wanted Harry Brook very, very badly. But then everything changed because Ben Stokes came in, but now we're seeing him. He's right here.
He's right there after all. But imagine having that kind of depth that you can say, oh, we're only bringing out one of the best match winners ever out of retirement. So who will be dropped? One of your brightest young prospects. One of your brightest young prospects. This is the Harry Brook, by the way, who impressed so much in that series against Pakistan last year that England were like, yeah, you know what? You're very young, very untested, but we'll take you to the World Cup. And he played such a key part in them winning it.
Exactly.
That is the level of depth. And again, the other strength for me, of course,
the all-rounders. Absolutely. Incredible all-rounders here. You've got Ben Stokes, you've got Sam Curran, you've got Chris Wokes, Mark Wood.
Oh, I wouldn't count Wood as an all-rounder.
I mean, you can talk a few, but David Willey.
Willey definitely is an all-rounder. And if you're looking at it, so is, of course, Sam Curran, Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali. Exactly. That's half their squad that is all-rounders.
I mean, in ODI cricket, you need to bat deep, but then you also have the advantage of having such amazing bowlers with you. I mean, that is crazy. That is the kind of depth, India would be looking for.
Exactly.
I'm talking about it because that number 8 position has been causing us so much problems. And if we had players like England's,
half the number of them, you have 4 all-rounders. And I'm stretching the definition by counting Ashwin.
I know. But then you're still doing so well, it's not like you just have them. They're doing well. They're in incredible form. They're all in prime form. I can't recall any one of these players who are not doing well right now.
Exactly, that's the thing. All of them are actually in good form. And again, if you look at it, the other advantage they have is that they're very settled. If you compare the 2019 World Cup side to the 2023 World Cup side, there's maybe minor changes here and there. Because otherwise, go over the team. Butler, Ali, Johnny Bairstow, Sam Curran wasn't there, but you had Joe Root, you had Ben Stokes, you had Mark Wood, you had Chris Wokes. That's a very settled core of players, proven players, experienced, but there's also a mix of youth because you've got an Atkinson, you of course have Harry Brook. Livingston has come into his own recently. Reece Topley was very unfortunate to miss out last year. He got that injury just before the World Cup. So very settled look, and I think that is one thing that's one problem which other teams have been having where they've had a glut of injury issues. England have avoided that.
Yes, actually, but there is still one or two injuries I think we will be looking at. Ben Stokes, of course, can't
Stokes
bowl.
is not bowling. He's only a batter.
Bowling. Any other injuries? No, I don't think so. But
no, they don't. That's the thing.
Moving on to the opportunities for England, I think because India will move on to the schedule as well with it. They are playing at Dharamshala, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, Pune, Kolkata. They are batting on belters, something they something they love and they're so good at.
Exactly.
Baseball. Where else would you play baseball?
Exactly. And to be fair, the baseball idea in itself originated from the England white ball team. If you look at it, that revolution they had post 2015 where they said, no, we're just going to tonk everything.
Yeah. And they're getting perfect tracks for
exactly.
it.
If you're looking at, say, Ahmedabad, Dharamshala, Delhi will be the only tricky one.
Only. Against Afghanistan also.
Yeah.
But still.
But beyond
let's count that out.
Mumbai,
Wankhede, Chinnaswamy, come on.
Every single other track pretty much. And again, I'm not counting Lucknow because we don't know
Eden Gardens as well.
Yeah. Every single place. There is not one place where you're not going to get belters of tracks which suits them. And if you look at their schedule, they do have, let's say, an easier start because of the 5 teams they're playing. Actually, they don't have an easy start. If you look at it, New Zealand to start, then Bangladesh, Afghanistan, okay, fine. But you've got South Africa, then Sri Lanka. Actually, no, they do. It's not that tough a start.
It's not that tough, yeah. Actually, they have somewhat of a similar to Pakistan, I guess.
Where they're two strong teams. Yeah. Because see, after that, then you've got India, Australia and Pakistan. Netherlands being the only real weak one. I think that is something that could hamper them. Of course,
and
if they get
Pakistan is known for they're not. They are playing. Pakistan are known to cause some upsets against England.
Who wouldn't forget that? But other than that, I think if you look at the schedule, they would be fine with it.
Exactly.
Again, even New Zealand, generally speaking, tend to peak late in tournaments. Always happens. I remember even in 2019, they just about made it into 4th place, and then they were facing India in that World Cup semi because it was India topped the group. Bad memories, let's not go there. But that's the thing, New Zealand do tend to peak late. And don't forget, they're not going to be, New Zealand will be without Kane Williamson in that first match.
Exactly.
So I think it's a weakened New Zealand that they'll be facing. I think they should be very confident of picking up at least 4 out of 5 wins. South Africa will be the only major challenge because again, I think right now South Africa, if there's any team that are rivaling England, Australia for power hitting, it would be South Africa. Miller, Klassen, Makram, those 3 are going crazy. But other than that, I look at the schedule and it's a big opportunity for them early on. Get those, get the cobwebs off, start with blistering starts, which to be fair, they like doing. I can't really sense much of a weakness, but there is one small one I've realized. They don't really have much if you look at their squad, not too much in the way of spin options.
Exactly. I was going to come to just that. I was just thinking about that. That one of the threats to England is not having spinners when you're playing in India.
Yeah, you have 3, all of whom will be in your starting 11 because you're starting with Moeen. You're definitely starting with Liam Livingston and Adil Rashid. But beyond that, you don't have, and Adil Rashid, by the way, like India, only one wrist spinner. So
and also not great spinners, not like specialist spinners. So
I think Rashid is an underrated spinner.
Rashid, I'm not counting Rashid.
That way.
Like Moeen and Livingston are here for their batting.
Predominantly.
Yeah, predominantly, yes.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think a lot will depend on these 3 staying fit because if they don't, then that's one less proper bowling option you have. But again, if you're looking at that, that's really the only weakness.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
In fact, you have to actually pick out their best 11, and as you'll see, we also struggled a bit with coming up with what exactly a best 11 would be. And let's go over it. See, you've got a Malan and Bairstow for sure starters. Joe Root has to be number 3, same with Stokes at 4. Then you've got Butler at 5. Remember, Butler is an opener in T20 cricket. plays at 5 in ODIs. He was very effective in 2019, that same role. Then you've got Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali, Chris Wokes. That's crazy amount of batting, by the way. Then after that,
batting till 8.
you actually bat till
Anyway.
11. You bat till 11. Adil Rashid has got county hundreds. You can't discount him.
Karan can bat. Willie can bat.
Exactly. The
So
only
can
ones.
no, not really.
Topley is
okay
with the
but
bat.
Karan and Willie can bat. We know
Exactly.
Adil Rashid can do it.
And
We
Mark
know
Wood.
Wood can do
You
it.
remember what he was doing in the
Yeah.
Ashes? Eyes closed, hitting big sixes on it.
Honestly, there was an interview with Mark Wood
Yeah,
and
I
he said
remember.
he didn't know what he was doing.
He
His
was
eyes
closing.
were closed.
But of course, if you're with the eyes closed and you can connect that sweetly.
Yeah. Then
on-
I'd want to know what he does with his eyes open.
No idea. I think he'd probably hit them harder.
Yeah.
But even then, look at that. That's insane batting depth. It's
That's
insane.
just something England is known for, isn't
Exactly.
it? Since the past, I don't know how many years, England has had a deep batting lineup and it is one of their biggest strengths.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to the fact that, culturally in England, they do tend to celebrate all-rounders.
Yeah, true.
You've had the likes of Botham, Flintoff, now of course Ben Stokes, who I think has eclipsed everyone in that regard.
Yeah.
So they do have a history of creating a lot of good all-rounders. Someone like Wokes is a sure shot starter in most other nations. In England, sometimes in tests he
You'll have
sits
to
out.
think about.
Yeah, that's the funny
That's
part.
just the quality of their players.
Yeah, and not just for the pace bowlers, by the way, because again, Karan was, I think for me, starting. Topley and Willie will probably be
same.
backup options.
I believe so.
Yeah, because Karan is also a very underrated all-rounder. We've seen what he can do with the bat.
Yeah.
And with the ball, I think he's transformed himself as a death bowler. So actually, if you look at it, very settled lineup. The only weakness, as we say, is a lack of depth in spin.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. And it's
only
not
problem.
even a requirement.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you are playing in India. I agree about, that is a valid point. But then, is it something you need when you have these players in your in your lineup? When you have these batters, even if even if the opposition performs, puts a big total on the score,
You're
you
backing
have
them.
batters, you have depth. You're batting to the last player. My God.
Exactly. And actually, if you look at it, they're bowling. One thing which I think a lot of people don't tend to realize is there's a lot of variety there.
Yeah.
Because again, in Wokes, you have someone who's a traditional
Yes.
new ball bowler. Then you've got Karan who can bowl in anywhere.
Yes.
Bowls well up front because, of course, that left arm angle, very good death bowler, as I mentioned. Then in Wood, you have that express pace.
Yes.
In Adil Rashid, and of course, Rashid, Liam Livingstone, and Moeen Ali, you've got multiple spin options. Because I think Liam Livingstone is good, can bowl both off and leg spin. Then you've got Moeen who bowls off.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good bowling lineup as well. There's variety. And do not be surprised, by the way, if they compromise their batting a little bit. And so, we're going to play Gus Atkinson as well. Because if you go back to 2019, they did have two quick bowlers, as in two genuinely quick bowlers in the lineup. Wood was there and Jofra Archer. People tend to forget that.
Oh yeah, the other injury is Jofra Archer.
But Archer, I think, was always, unfortunately, I think once that IPL injury had popped up and he had to have surgery and all again, it was never really going to be an option.
But then I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal, really, if you're looking at it as far as teams go. Australia look like two of the most settled units for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Very, very settled. Australia, I think, unfortunately, been rattled by two things. One, bad loss of form at a poor time, and a couple of key injuries. I think they'll miss Travis Head.
Travis Head, they will miss him incredibly.
Absolutely. But England, I think for me, definitely have a lot of, let's say, almost all bases covered. Very settled look. They know what their best 11 will be. And I think that is very, very important when you're heading into a World Cup.
Yes.
If you know what your core looks like, if they've played a lot of cricket together,
things become easier.
Much easier. So for us, both of us, we do think that England would be starting as one of the firm favourites. But that's just how we feel. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. And
don't forget to download the AajTak app.
Plus, check out some other videos we've done through the day. There's plenty that has happened in the world of sport. For now, though, from Gargi and me, bye-bye.